ever wondered how databases handle both positive and negative numbers, or why some fields in your tables can only store positive values? Welcome back to Knowledge Academy's YouTube channel. Today we're unraveling the mystery behind signed and unsigned data types in SQL. Understanding this concept can significantly optimize your database performance and data integrity. So, let's dive in and explore these fascinating data types. In SQL, numerical data types can be classified as either signed or unsigned. This classification determines the range of values that the data type can store. First, let's see what signed data types are. These data types can store both negative and positive values. They are ideal for scenarios where you need to represent a full range of numbers, including those below 0. For example, a signed integer int in my SQL ranges from this to this. On the other hand, unsigned data types are data types that can only store non-negative values, effectively doubling the maximum value they can hold compared to their signed counterparts. They are useful when negative values are not required. For instance, an unsigned integer in my SQL ranges from 0 to the number shown in your screen. Now, why do we use signed and unsigned data types? The choice between signed and unsigned data types depends on the specific requirements of your application. Signed data types are useful when you need to store both positive and negative numbers. For example, financial transactions where you might have credits in positive values and debits in negative values. Unsigned data types are ideal for fields that will only contain positive numbers, like a user ID, quantity of items in stock, or age. By using unsigned data types, you can take advantage of a larger range of positive values, which is particularly beneficial in large data sets. Let's see how we can create a table with signed integer columns. Suppose we want to create a table named Financial Records to store financial transaction records. The table will have the following columns: ID, amount, and transaction date. For this, we will write the query as create table financial records, then in parentheses we will write column name, ID in primary key, amount in. Here this column can store negative values as well. Then transaction date by using date. Then close parenthesis and run the query. In this table, the amount column is a signed integer, allowing it to store both positive and negative values. This is useful for financial applications where transactions can be either debits or credits. Now let's create tables with unsigned data types. Suppose we want to create a table named Inventory to store information about products. The table will have the following columns. Product ID, quantity of both of them, will be an integer representing the unique ID and quantity of the product, which can only store positive values, and product name. For this, we will write the query as create table inventory, then in parenthesis, product ID, unsigned primary key, as this column can only store positive values, quantity int, unsigned, product name var, car, 255, close parenthesis and run the query. In this example, both product ID and quantity columns are defined as unsigned integers, ensuring they only store non-negative values. This is useful for inventory management where product IDs and quantities cannot be negative. Sometimes we might need to convert signed into unsigned and vice versa. So this can be done using the cast function in SQL. For converting signed to unsigned, we write the query as select, then use cast function, and in parenthesis write signed value as unsigned. Suppose we want to change amount signed integer to unsigned. So for this, we will write select, then cast. After that, in parenthesis, write amount, then write as unsigned. In the end, write from statement with table name. Likewise, for converting unsigned to signed, we will write the query as select cast, then again in parenthesis unsigned value as signed. Suppose we want to change quantity, which was unsigned integer, to signed. So for that, we will write it as select cast, then in parenthesis quantity, assigned. Keep in mind that converting a signed negative value to an unsigned value can result in unexpected results, as negative numbers cannot be represented in an unsigned format. Now let's look at some of the use cases for signed and unsigned data types. Signed data types are used for temperature records, for storing temperature values which can be below 0. It is also used for financial transactions as accounting systems where you need to represent both gains and losses, and for geographical coordinates as latitude and longitude values which can be positive or negative. Now unsigned data types. These are used for user IDs, where identifiers should always be positive. It is also used for inventory counts, as stock levels cannot be negative, and for event timestamps for storing time values, which are always non-negative. Now let's see what the benefits of using unsigned data types are. First, it increases range by eliminating the possibility of negative values. You effectively double the range of positive values. This can be especially useful for large datasets where you need to maximize the storage capacity. Second, improves data integrity. Unsigned data types ensure that only valid positive numbers are stored in the database, reducing the risk of data errors. For example, setting a user's age as an unsigned integer prevents the possibility of entering a negative age. Third, performance optimization. In some database systems, using unsigned data types can lead to slight performance improvements, as the database engine does not need to account for negative values during calculations and comparisons. Understanding signed and unsigned data types is essential for efficient database design. By choosing the appropriate data type based on your requirements, you can optimize storage and ensure data integrity. Remember, use signed data types when you need to store negative values and unsigned data types when you only need non-negative values. That's it for today's tutorial on signed and unsigned data types in SQL. In the next video, we will learn about data and time function in SQL. Keep up the pace, we have almost reached the end of SQL tutorial. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button and subscribe to our channel for more exciting and informative content. Don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss an update.